Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. A few words about who controls who and how come a very small, insignificant country has so much power over the Western world, over the Western civilization. I'm talking about Israel. I have here about 10 articles, and I will slowly go over each of them just to raise some questions. I don't know if I'm going to provide answers, but the questions. The first one. Fox News, Netanyahu hits Biden administration, says Israel, not US, will decide how to handle Iran. So Israel has vowed not to attack Iranian oil and nuclear targets, reports say. Remember, Netanyahu is the prime minister of a country with about 10 million people, created by the United Nations in 1948, armed by the United States of America, billions of dollars in money going over there from the European countries. And this country tells our president, our office, our country, that it's going to be us who's going to decide, not you. Well, if we are to analyze this in an objective way or an ideal way, yes, that's true. It's not the United States who will dictate that. But then we're not going to give you anything. You just take care of yourself over there. But no, you don't tell me, I tell you, and you give me everything I ask you. In the meantime, I'm just going to embarrass your president. Now, remember, this article comes from Fox News. If United States of America would be the country that we're told that it is, would have told, with the title would have been different, coming from Fox News. Would say that baboon Netanyahu dares to tell us that he's going to do whatever he wants. He's a loser. We're going to just pull out all the support for him, and his little country will just, but no, it's not like that. Why? Because who owns who? Let me show you the second article here. So the first one is a snub of our president. Do I like my president? No, but it's still the president of the United States of America. So it's the office. And Fox News is an American media outlet. Covers for whom? The Telegraph. Now the Brits are in the same boat of slavish parrots. Israel labels Macron a disgrace to the French nation. Now, why now? It is October 16. Why now? Oh, because Macron hurt your feelings. So there is, let me put it this way. So you are aware that that guy is a criminal, all right? But you don't say anything about that guy until that guy, I don't know, makes a comment that you don't like. What would that make you? Only then you start parroting? Now, in my investigative job that I had for many years, I met many parents and many people concerned with a certain situation when that hurts them directly, and used to report all kind of crimes that they were aware of for years, but they didn't report. They reported it only now when it hurt them a little bit. So what kind of person that is? A criminal? I mean, if you know of a crime and you don't report it, but you report it, or you say, hey, that guy is a bad guy only when he makes some comments that you don't like, what kind of person are you? Again, France helped Israel with the atomic program in 1960s. Remember that one? Well, not helped, because the French were owned in 1960s by someone who gave them certain information. So Macron is a disgrace for the French nation. I think he is, but not in relation with Israel. Israel got anything it wanted from this baboon. So this is like you do something, I don't know, this reminds me of someone, his name was and is Dr. William. Dr. Williams said in one of his statements, little story, he said, with these guys, it works this way. You can help them every year, every day, or every week. You help them for years and years back. And then they will come today and say, hey, why don't you help me? You didn't do anything for me. And you say, well, just a second. Netanyahu, I did for you in 1917, 16, 18. Then I did for you in 1940s and 1930s. And I did for you since then every day. And you say, well, no. What did you do for me today? So everything that you did for this kind of people, it means zero. What's important, you don't do something for that person now. Now, what kind of person that is? If that person would be a person with no power over you, you just, break the relationship if there was any. You don't, just discard that person. But then you just take it. Well, let's go to the next article. Again, Fox News. Netanyahu tells Macron that Israel was not created by the United Nations, but by, and I'm quoting, blood of our heroic fighters. With whose weapons and whose backing? Israel's? Please, my friends. They're talking about, the Arabs going in 1948 after Israel did what with the Palestinians, with the refugees? Isn't that what was supposed to not happen? Wasn't that supposed to be another country formed over there? So heroic fighters without the European weapons and everything else would have been inexistent. Without the US bought by, 1948 would have not been around. Remember, this is the only anomaly on this planet, when just a country was just put together and they decided this is going to be a new one. All right, so imagine, now France, we are told, is a European nation with a long history, with civilization, with economic power, military might, and so on, which it's doubtful from if you look at objectively, but still is. It's not a country that you can ignore. And you have 10 million people in desert somewhere talking like that to the French president again. Now you have a choice. You like your president or you like someone else's president, or prime minister in this case. And if you were indoctrinated to love that particular entity more than your country, then you're a baboon. Next one. This is like in a relationship. Let me show you. Remember the first article? Netanyahu hits Biden administration, says Israel, not US, will decide how to handle Iran. And then we have this right here. US troops arrive in Israel with a THAAD anti-air missile defense system. So if you are heroic, as you say, if you tell that I'm going to do it the way I want, but you give me what I need, who's in control? Who's in charge? So imagine that someone, as I gave you this analogy many times before, someone is outside and it's a homeless person. So barely makes a living. It's a bad situation. And you decide, because you're a good person, or maybe you're owned by someone else, to invite that person in your house, provide him with a shower, new clothes, and you ask him if you would like to eat steak. And he's going to say, yeah, remember, that guy haven't seen a steak in years, right? And then you cook a steak for him, you grill it, you do whatever you do. And then when you give him the food and you give some wine maybe, he's going to say that, what the hell? This wine is like shit. And this steak, man, is not the way I want it. Get that person out and out. It was your mistake. So that person is zero without you, is a homeless. But he is going to tell you that somehow what you gave him, or you should not tell him anything. It doesn't work that way, buddy. I mean, if I finance you, if I defend you, don't you think that I have a say? I think that the United States of America should withdraw everything. And everybody else. Let them be how do you call it? Heroic. Let them be heroic. Next one. Oh, in the same article here, U.S. troops arrive in Israel. You see here, this is from October 15th, 2024. And at 2:51 says U.S. threatens Israel with arms embargo over Gaza crisis. All right, I don't think that is going to happen ever. Right here, Jerusalem Post. This is from the 15th. U.S. threatens Israel with arms embargo over Gaza aid. No, it's not going to be anything like that. Why? This is from 2 hours ago today on the 17th of October. U.S. will not suspend arms supplies to Israel over humanitarian crisis in Gaza. But this guy told that guy to stay the fuck away from me. I do what the hell I want with money. And your nation's risks. Because if and when Israel will attack, in response to Iran, then the United States of America will directly assist Israel. Therefore, we're going to be actively fighting Iran. Therefore, you and I, if you live in the United States of America or in Great Britain or in any baboonish state owned, you're going to place yourself at risk and your children. Why? Because Iran will consider you enemies. Why? Because of your somehow friendship with that Middle Eastern entity. All right, let's go to the next one. Now, I understand that you make your own decisions. It's your country. But then, okay, don't ask, don't beg, or don't order our arms to be supplied to you. But they can do that. They can. And the media covers. We find out that when Israel will respond to Iran's aggression and attacks, Europe might be screwed up. Do you think Israel cares? I guarantee you not. Sputnik. European Union security will be at risk if Israel strikes Iran's nuclear oil plants. Borrell. I don't give this guy too much virtue. But he's not an imbecile. I don't think he's an imbecile. He comes and says that. What did you do to, prevent that? Did you give any support to Israel? Did you give any support to Netanyahu? Well, obviously he did, otherwise he wouldn't be the foreign minister, let's put it this way, of the European Union. So do you think Israel will care? No. I don't think the Western civilization is something that entity, Middle Eastern entity, admires. I would say on the contrary. I tell you why. They didn't admire Egypt's civilization or the Babylon. Why? It was an inferiority complex, I think. And remember, those guys did bad stuff to the Israelis. So I wonder, why would they like Europeans then? It's just a question. Well, you see, we're told that international law, we're told about the set of rules that we are supposed to abide and in the world. I'm talking about the countries. It seems like it is that certain countries can violate those rules or international law with impunity and nothing happens. What does that tell you? And there's not too many countries that can do that. Only the strong countries can do that. Not even, let's say, North Korea. But you might say, well, North Korea is not strong. Well, it has nuclear weapons, so it basically could do whatever it wants. And North Korea has about 23 million people. Israel has about 10. The only thing is, North Korea doesn't own Europe or North America. So what's going on here? Again, Israeli tank attacks United Nations Peacekeepers Stronghold. Now that is a grave violation of international law. Do you think anything will happen? No. There will be some baboons who are going to not even condemn. Will say, that's not right. Come on. Not right. So what do we have here? Israeli tank attack United Nations Peacekeepers stronghold in southern Lebanon. It happened before when two tanks entered the premises, and if you remember, they shot at two Irish peacekeeping forces and they wounded them. Is that the declaration of war? What are you gonna do? United States is your bitch. An Israeli tank attacked the United Nations Peacekeepers stronghold in the village of Kfar Kela in southern Lebanon. The United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon said on Wednesday, and I'm quoting, Wednesday is today, I'm sorry, it was yesterday, the 16th. This morning, peacekeepers at a position near Kfar Kela observed an IDF Markava tank firing at their watchtower. Two cameras were destroyed and the tower was damaged. Yet again, we see direct and apparently deliberate fire on United Nations IFIL position. We remind, that's all you can do, the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, and all actors of their obligations to ensure the safety and security of United Nations personnel and property, and to respect the inviolability of United Nations premises at all times. Blah, 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 blah. Got that? So another one was hit. Let me show you another one, Russia Today. I would like you to find that in BBC and, I don't know, in Associated Press as well. United Nations peacekeepers report another, quote-unquote, deliberate Israeli attack. An United Nations IFIL observation post in southern Lebanon has been shelled by an Israeli Markava tank, according to the contingent. So, that's United Nations, my dear. Let's say this would have been done by Iran. Condemnations, sanctions, preparations for an attack, punishment, regime change. But nothing here, just a little bit. Please be careful next time. And it's going to be next time. It's going to be more than next time. Now, this is how the so-called Western free media shapes opinion. When they don't come and tell you, like let's say I'm Fox News or I don't know, The Hill or something like that, because I have The Hill in front of me here, and I want to raise some questions or I want to push an idea, but I'm afraid that, my idea could be too fringe, I write it in the shape of an opinion. That is, I have a baboon and I let the baboon loose to write type a little piece of his or her opinion on an issue. And the issue is an extreme issue, but it's not the newspaper's stance. It just allows someone to have an opinion. Free speech, after all. But these opinions are read by people. And I'm going to show you 3 pieces of opinions. And you tell me all these 3 were they're just to be. So they are saying something with someone else's words. This is what these guys are doing. Before it used to be different. It used to be, interviewing people on the street and then picking how many interviews for this side and how many interviews for this side, and we'll make the proportion however they want it, depending on what direction they wanted the reader to be pushed into. Let's say interview 100 people, 20 of them had this opinion, 80 of them had this one, right? And they use the 20 from here and 5 from the 80. And therefore this opinion was, widespread. That's how they pushed it. And then they did it and they do it nowadays differently. They pick tweets nowadays. They pick different tweets, what comments of different people, various people at a certain kind of situation or topic. And they pick whatever they want, and they tell you again, they use, let's say, 9 going this way and 1 on this way. And you, as the reader, will realize easily that it's 9 and 1, and you don't want to lose, right? So you want to be on the winning side, which is the 9. You're not courageous to look into the issue yourself. So let me show you the opinions. Just the titles. These dangerous titles. The Hill, opinion. Israel's offensive against Hezbollah is working, and the West should back it fully. Should back it fully. Okay? This is the opinion, it's not the Hill's opinion. So the offensive against Hezbollah is working. In what way? Violating another country, invading, and not killing civilians whatsoever? Is that the way it works? In the meantime, killing a few. So let's say you find out that you have, I don't know, a criminal that you're looking for in the next city right there. And you're going to blow up the whole city, and you say, well, I killed the criminal. In the meantime, 150,000 people were, I killed. It's working. And the West should back it fully. I think there's a lot of crimes occurring over there. All right. So this is just an opinion. It's not the Hills. I know they don't stand by it, but it's just in the name of free speech. They allow people to have their say. They wouldn't allow me, obviously. All right. Let's go here. The Hill. Another one. Supporting Israel. This is from yesterday. Supporting Israel isn't enough. The Islamic Republic must go, said this person right here. So again, this is not the Hill's opinion. It's just an opinion of someone else, someone over there. What do you mean the Islamic Republic must go? Says who? Oh, we need full support of the West to do it for us. But remember, he told that Israel will do whatever we want. But hey, you give me air defense systems and military troops on the ground. So they use us like a bitch, like a lady of the night, without paying. On the contrary, the lady of the night pays the customer in this case. So the lady of the night is the Western world. And the customer is Israel. Israel will get the or will give, and she, the Western world, will pay for that. I'm not done. I have another article here. Again, this comes from Los Angeles Times. And this is from, again, October 16. Opinion. What more do the US and its allies need? It's time to take out Iran's nuclear sites. But I heard that Israel, not US, will decide how to handle Iran. Right? And now I'm hearing that you need these guys, US and its allies, which is the vassal states, the baboons, the slaves on the plantation. So you need these guys to take Iran for us with your money, with everything, and then you expose yourself to Iran's however they're gonna retaliate. Why would we help, or why would be involved in that garbage over there? Let them solve things out. Well, then we're gonna see heroism, right? We're gonna be a lot of heroism. Now remember, those guys, 10 million people that are they're the perpetual victims all the time. They've never done anything wrong, ever. They have nuclear weapons. What are you gonna do? You can't do anything. Oh yeah, that's one thing you can do. And I said this on Rumble, one of my videos over there. And that is, if these guys really, really want, they can start an operation in about 2 hours. 2 hours long operation in Israel. And they can, make sure to take over the nuclear sites of that independent country that is very heroic. And then take the nukes out, if there are any nukes over there, and then release it to the world and protect it from the neighbors' attacks. But that country, I don't think it should have nuclear weapons whatsoever. Why? Remember when Netanyahu showed up last time at United Nations? Do you remember what were some of his arguments? They were religious arguments about God and promises and that. So no, I don't think they talk like us. I don't think so. He didn't talk like, And let me show you here a person that I really have nothing for, on the contrary, against, I would say. But here she is courageous. I have to give her that. Squad member calls Netanyahu and I'm quoting, genocidal maniac, end quote, sparking backlash from Israeli ambassador to the United Nations. This is according to Fox News. Greg Norman wrote this one on October 15th. Now, if Greg would be an objective guy, he would write this differently, but he's not. So Democrat squad member Rashida Tlaib is now calling Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu a genocidal maniac, prompting a sharp rebuke from the country's ambassador to the United Nations. And I'm quoting, genocidal maniac Netanyahu is burning Palestinians alive. Is it true? That's first question. Is it true? Bombing hospitals. Is it true? Question. Starving people. Is it true? And killing aid workers. Is it true? And bombing United Nations compounds. Is it true? The Michigan representative wrote Monday night in a post on X. And I'm quoting, when will our country, United States of America, stop funding this madness? When, she added. When you're gonna be independent and sovereign, my dear. Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Danon, responded to her by writing, and I'm quoting, the only ones who burned children alive were your buddies over at Hamas. The only ones. What do you think? I think we should just leave those guys straighten things out. I would take the nuclear weapons if I could, and I think United States of America can do that if we would be for real. Take them out, because those guys potentially can create big problems for all of us. And then protect Israel in a certain way that they will become a little bit more how should I put it? Balanced, maybe. Here is, my friends, a few words about what's going on over there. I watched a few videos with what's going on in Gaza and Lebanon, perpetrated or conducted by the Israel Defense Forces. And I have to tell you that I watched, when I was younger, I was much younger, a lot of documentaries on the Nazi forces crimes, the Wehrmacht and Luftwaffe and all that. And no, not even close. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.